Okay, let's get the show on the road. This is the Fife Property Market update from the 19th of May to yesterday, the 25th of May. For anybody that doesn't know what I'm doing here, I am looking at all the statistics across Rightmove, every single agent that lists on Rightmove, all the properties sold in Fife over the last week versus all the properties listed in terms of numbers. Transactional numbers are the key to determining the health of the property market in your locality. In other words, Fife on this occasion. But transactional numbers are the key. It's not property prices, because property prices always remain stable, really. I mean, there was obviously 2008, but that was a one-off, and that doesn't happen very often at all. But the health of the property market is really down to the transactional numbers, and it could give you an indication as well as a buyer or a seller whether you should actually be repricing or realigning, or whether you should be, as a buyer, possibly offering above the home report value, or the home report value itself, or below the home report value. So there's a strong indication right now. So let me talk about them. And as well as I talk about what's sold this week with ourselves, just to give you an indication about how quick properties are going for at certain price ranges in certain areas. And then also, as well, I'll talk about what's coming to market with us, and then what's actually sold with keys handed over. So I'll be able to tell you the actual price it's sold for, and if it went for over home report value, and how long it took to sell as well. These are all strong indicators about, giving you an idea about where the property market is right now across Fife. Okay, so let's get cracking. This is definitely a surprise. Hold on to your hats, because I'd never expected this to happen this week. Just let me share some of the numbers here and do a bit of housekeeping. I'm just getting rid of a couple of comments here. Okay, so here we go. Look at this. Oh my goodness. 174 properties listed with all the estate agents in the week. Only 131 actually sold, with not of these properties, but of properties in general. So 131 divided by 174 is 75%. That is a really low number of sales. That is a huge oversupply in the week. Now, that is straight on the back of, again, what I talked about, how long it was taking to sell a property in each area. And one of the shows I actually did during this week. And that show, if you want to see that, is on this link. I actually drilled it down into the micro regions and told you exactly how many properties are and how long it's taking to sell in each area right across Fife. And St Andrews, how long it's taking to sell on average, and East Neuk, and Cooper, and Leavenmouth, and Glenorchy, and Kirkcaldy, and Dunfermline. All these regions I've actually pinpointed exactly how much on average it takes to sell a property. I'll give you an idea right now. In East Neuk, for example, average time to sell in East Neuk is about 4 months. And Dunfermline, average time to sell is just over a month. Work that one out. It's a lot to do with price point. It's a lot to do with affordability as well, because obviously mortgages have gone up in terms of affordability every single month by about 60% since 2021 to today. So hopefully on the horizon, the Bank of England indicating that with inflation kind of been under control, that we might be in a position, or they might be in a position, to actually reduce base rates in June, which is next month, and possibly in August as well. But who knows what the Bank of England does? Who knows what's going to happen in the economy? You can't control what happens around the world either. And this is what affects prices and inflation, because we import quite a lot of goods into this country. So all the pricing is out of our control because it's in other regions as well of the world. Okay, so let me talk about what's that show. Okay, that show itself. It was actually called Making Sense of the Fife Property Market. Fife Property Market's £166 per square foot value, but I hijacked the first half hour and talked about the actual what is happening right now, boots on the ground in the Fife market, in your regional area, at this point in time. So if you're a seller and you're a buyer, you definitely want to go and click on this link, drill down into that show, and click on the link for Making Sense of the Fife Property Market's £166 per square foot value as well. And we talk about all the different regions. So that's definitely a blog to, well, there's no point in reading the blog if you're wanting to listen about that, because I hijacked the show and actually talked for the first half hour about what was happening in each of your regions. I thought it was so important for people to understand that. I can't believe how many people still think their house is going to fly off the shelf. Oh, it's going to sell straight away. It's going to sell in a couple of days. Everybody will love it. It's nothing to do with that at all. It's a number of people that will buy in the area versus the number of properties actually available in your price range for someone else to buy. Or even at a lower price range, it's even more attractive than your property at that point in time because they've got a lot to choose from just now. Because, as you've seen right there just now, 174 properties coming on, only 131 selling. Therefore, there's another net 43 properties there still available for other people to buy at this point in time. You're competing against other people's properties, remember. You're not just a standalone on your own itself. People are going to Rightmove almost like basically a property supermarket, and when they're putting in bandings of prices and yours is coming up, everybody else's is coming up as well. I do talk about how to avoid that and how to get exclusivity right in front of it just for your property and not let anybody see anybody else's property as a result of that in that show I spoke about in the first half hour at Hijacked. So if you're a seller, you're definitely want to tune into that or listen to the podcast. So click on the link. Yeah, definitely. Okay, so let's talk about what's been sold in the week. As I said, here it is here. You drill down at the micro regions as well, and you talk about that. Look, Cooper, 18 properties come on, 11 only sold. That's almost about 50% is selling. So that's well below. East Neuk, 8 versus 7. That's quite good for East Neuk. We've sold a couple this week as well in East Neuk, and we've sold quite a bit, and we've just not reported it yet because we've got loads of offers in. St Andrews, 13 versus 9. Levenmouth, 13 versus 7. Again, 50% in Levenmouth. Who would have expected that? Dunfermline, 73 versus 55. Glenrothes, 12 versus 11. Kirkcaldy, 37 versus 31. You total up 174 versus 131. But you can see the regions that are actually suffering this week. Cooper, almost 50% down. And then you've got Levenmouth, almost 50% down as well. And then you've got St Andrews, which is 13 versus 9. So you can see the ones that suffer. So just to give you an insight, it's, you know, you can think right across the Fife property market, everything's selling, but when you drill down the micro region, it is a different story. It shows a different picture. I actually walked out to somebody the other day. I had a house that was at 425,000, and they went, "Yeah, my house will sell, no bother." I said, "You seen my report yet?" He went, "No." I said, "Your region's taking ages to sell on average," and he turned white, genuinely, because he thinks it's the total impression that his house is going to fly off the shelf straight away. But on an average situation, it's not. You have to really get a good, clever marketer, digital marketing strategy to do that, and also strong negotiators at the end in order to attract the right audience, even from further afield, because you've got a finite market every single year. And again, as I said, I talk about every single month how you've got a finite amount of numbers in each area in that report I spoke about at the beginning of this show. Okay, I can't stress that enough, how important it is for people to tune into that show and just click on the link. And it's called Making Sense of the Fife Property Markets, £166 per square foot value. Click on the link, listen to the podcast. First 30 minutes, it tells you everything you need to know about what the state of play is in your regional, micro-region area for Fife just now. St Andrews, Cooper, East Neuk, Levenmouth, Kirkcaldy, Glenrothes, Dunfermline. It's all there laid bare, exactly what's going on in your Fife property market. You have most of the estate agents clicking on it now because they probably didn't even know either. Okay, sorry, that's tongue in cheek. Anyway, okay, let's move on. Let's talk about what's actually coming to market. What's coming to market and what's sold. Okay, so what is sold in the area? Let me just quickly go over that. Sold. Here we go. St Adrian's Place is actually sold in 2 weeks. Who would have thought that? Well, me. So sold in 2 weeks, St Adrian's Place. This was a 3-bedroom detached house. You can see overlook the golf course towards the sea in the 54th, and it actually sold, and it was gone within 2 weeks, as I said. 445,000. This was on it, and it sold. And boy, did it get a price! It was worth it. Braehead and St Monans is the next one. Another one, again a high price point for the area. Braehead, that sold in 11 days. For me, it feels like forever. I thought this was about 3 months, and it's actually just 11 days. It was a 3-bedroom, semi-detached house. New owners are delighted with their new home. Offers over 425,000, and that property is away as well. Let me just talk about what's actually coming to market with us in the next few weeks. Ratley Place in Hill Street and Cooper A one-bedroom ground floor apartment is coming on. One-bedroom ground floor apartments are really popular for downsizers because they're on the ground floor clearly, and they're obviously more affordable, easier to run, and less of a cost. So that's why they're really popular. So if you've got properties that are ground floor apartments, then these are definitely the ones I would say that you should be focusing on and getting more insight in from more attraction, more footfall in for these types of properties itself. What's the other ones coming on? Okay, so Gardner Crescent Leaving, 5-bedroom detached house. This will be very popular when it comes on, Gardner Crescent and Leaving. Kirkwind and Strathmiglo, wow, you want to see this one. This is a cracker. It's got a massive bit of land to the side. It's got a massive other bit of front garden to the side. It has got a beautiful outlook, and there's no one behind you. And it is a huge, beautiful extension. It goes up into this glorious trusses and roof and all the rest of it, and ceiling inside. And then it's even got an outbuilding that could be repurposed into possibly even a holiday home. And I'll be putting that on this week. I'll be doing a pre-portal on that this week. So watch out for that one. That'll be on our Cooper page. So if you're looking for Strathmiglo area, definitely Cooper page, 4-bedroom detached house, a huge amount of land that's on it. It's a great location. Glenagle Gardens in Anstruther, 4-bedroom, semi-detached house. Another great one that's coming on a really good sized plot, and it has been extended to the side as well. And it could be, the extension could be repurposed for someone. It's maybe an extended member of your family. Maybe you don't want it, you want them to have to move in with you, and they want their own self-contained unit with their own front door. This could be the one for you. Glenagle Gardens in Anstruther, 4-bedroom, semi-detached house. Middle Cottage in Kilrenny, that'll be coming in as well. Always popular in Kilrenny area, especially the cottages. 2-bedroom terrace cottages going to be coming on as well. So watch out for that one. As I said before, everything that's coming soon, I've just announced just now, the Rattery Place, the Gardner Crescent, the Kirkwind, the Glenagle Gardens, the Middle Cottage in Kilrenny. If you're interested in any of these properties, message us direct on this post just to get yourself registered right now in case this goes before it even gets to our website. It will happen, and it can happen. You do not want to miss out on your dream home. Let's talk about what's completed anyway. Completed, keys handed over. So only one this week for us. Carfrey Drive in Glenrothes, 2-bedroom terrace house. It's sold in 2 weeks for 20% over the home report value. Yep, and say that again. 20% over the home report value in Glenrothes, a 2-bedroom terraced house at Carfrey Drive in Glenrothes. It's sold in 2 weeks. So that's what we're getting over the home report value in the Glenrothes area for that type of property in there. So it represented another £9,000 to the seller. Another £9,000 in your hand. Wow, that clears all the fees, gives you cash back as well. You got your estate agent services for nothing. That's a good deal. Definitely. Okay, so let me just go on about the next thing. A couple of articles just to finish off here. As I said, we've been talking about how does the general election affect Fife house prices. So here we go. Here, the link is in this post to the show. I actually did about that about house prices. Will they remain steady? There'll be a temporary dip before the election, possibly. Post-market catch-up. There is a post on here that you can click on the link to read the article. It's literally 3 minutes long. So if you want to know how does the general election affect Fife house prices and house prices overall throughout the UK, then click on that link. You could read that article. The next one we want to talk about quickly, Richard and I, if you're a buy-to-let investor, buy-to-let landlord, the one you want to know and you want to tune in is choosing a buy-to-let. How to choose the best buy-to-let. Now, I'll be honest, I've been a landlord for 30 years and I'm quite modest. No, I'm not really. It's like I've been a landlord for 30 years. I'm one of the biggest landlords in Scotland, one of the most successful landlords in Scotland as well. So if you're wanting to tune in, you're wanting to start on your journey in buy-to-let, or you're in buy-to-let right now, or if you think you're a seasoned veteran, well, think again, because I probably know a lot more. So choosing a buy-to-let, how to pick the right investment property and market for you as well. That's what I talk about in this link with the podcast with Richard I did yesterday, talking about that, about how to get the best rental yield, how to get the best occupancy rate, how to get the best interest rate as well, if you're using financing to get mortgages as well, and then how to do the best strategies in order to attract the right people to get the longest rent after all, and the less hassle as well. This is what this is all about. So all these different mechanisms in a buy-to-let property, as you line them up in a row and get them systematically right, will compound hugely to the end. And the returns could be immense in the next 10 to 15 to 20 years in the buy-to-let market. Don't let the current legislation and what's going on put you off, because I tell you what, it is a blessing in disguise for landlords. Rent controls. See, I bet that caught your attention. And I talk about it in that show yesterday. It is a blessing in disguise for landlords, rent controls. You better believe it. Definitely. So tune into that. If you're an investor or buy-to-let landlord, or you're thinking about that as well, that'll be a good amount of information from you, from Richard and I yesterday. Finally, I'll just finish off here. Obviously, base rates are sitting at 5.25. Inflation's at now at 2.3%. Wage negotiations still at 6%. So there's maybe something on the horizon that might indicate the Bank of England might not reduce that. But I think mortgages have been historically high just now in comparison to what they were in the last 10 years. I think that's been taking most of the demand out with the wage inflation being high. So if they start to drop that money might be diverted to goods and services, which might push inflation back up again. This is why the Bank of England might be quite nervous to reduce interest rates and base rates, even though they've kind of indicated slightly about it. Unemployment level still at 4.3%, historically low in comparison. We can't build enough houses for supply and demand at this point in time. This is a lot to do with buy-to-let as well, an investor strategy. They can't build enough houses. They don't have the skill to do it. Every political party can talk about how they're going to build all these houses and make all these false promises, and how planning's all to. I watched it this morning on Laura Kunzberg, how the planning department, the plan mechanisms, all to fault at how we've no got enough houses in this country. It's got nothing to do with that. It's everything to do with the skills we don't have. We don't have enough people with the skills to build these houses. You could announce that you're going to build 100,000 houses this year, but you don't have the people to build 100,000 houses and the skills to build 100,000 houses. It's impossible to get that just now because unemployment is historically low in comparison. And we've got to mention the B word, the Brexit. All the people that were skilled to do that have all disappeared and gone and done something else. Or all people that have disappeared in the pandemic actually retrained and are doing something else as well. They don't want to go back to doing building. So all these skills have been lost. So it's no easy just to turn the tap on and say, we're going to build more houses, and all of a sudden it's going to appear out the woodwork. It is going to take a lot of years in order to get back to that. And at that time, the the population, the people being born and everything like that, and the net migration coming in, which is 20,000 a year into Scotland at least, net migration. All the skills are coming in from overseas, so that's fine. We're getting skills and services here. It's not just people coming in for the sake of it. It's actually skills we're getting in from net migration. They need places to stay, and we need to build 25,000 houses every single year just to keep up with demand. And there's 20,000 people coming in as it is, as a result of that, the skills and services, and there's more people being born as a result of that as well. So we're needing to build a lot more, and we've never done that for the last 15 years. Therefore, we're still playing catch up in all the houses we're needing to build anyway, and they'll never get anywhere near it in the future. Hence the reason why private renting sector and buy-to-let will continue to thrive for the next 20 years easily. Hopefully I've made that point clear. Wealth creation show tomorrow. Wealth creation show. We're going to be talking about this is actually quite interesting. Last week's wealth creation show. You watched on Monday. I think the last week's post is on here. The wealth creation show. I talked about this, how important, and I actually showed people my psychometric test when I started at Tillis Russell. In other words, what areas I had strengths in. Elizabeth did it actually when I in the personnel department. She did a psychometric test in the beginning, and I showed that, and I showed what she said about me in all these different categories. And that's all explained on there. But 2 years later, after I had met my mentors all these years ago, I think about 35 years ago, and what I'd done was the reading, the listening to the right tapes and getting educated, actually having mentors as well, and actually attending functions and learning how to run a business and how to build momentum and how to build businesses as a result when I first started out. I then did a psychometric test again, the exact same test, 2 years later, and the differences are like night and day. Now, why do I talk about this so much? because anyone else can do exactly the same thing as I've done, and they will have meteoric success in what they want to do as well as a result. It doesn't just this what I've done before doesn't just line you up for just to do what I've done. It lines you up for anything. It tees you up for anything. It tees you up to run a business. It tees you up to accelerating your career. It tees you up to enhance your family life and your relationships with everybody as a result of what you do. It tees you up to do things like this as well. And for anybody to sit there right now and think it's no possible, it is entirely possible. Because if you see the two differences between my psychometric test when I first started Tillis Russell, and then 2 years later, after plugging myself into this, the Financial Freedom Blueprint system, which I actually used at that time, and I still continue to use right now, then it accelerated my performance sky high. And I then accelerated right to financial director within a short period of time as a natural result of that, and then retired financially free at 38 years old. So if I can do it, anybody else can do it. Definitely. Because I was not like this, by the way, when I first started. I was terrified to lift up the phone when I first started. And that system helped me immensely. So this is why we talk about the Wealth Creation Show a lot, because if I can do it, everybody else can do it. And that's why we encourage people to watch the Wealth Creation Show. There's about Wealth Creation Show. How many episodes have we got in here for the Wealth Creation Show? Probably about 100. About 100 episodes of the Wealth Creation Show, definitely, I think we've got here. Yeah, 124. This will be episode 124 of the Wealth Creation Show. Masterclass every single time on how to accelerate your wealth, how to be better at what you do, how to hone and develop your results, and be the best at what you're doing right now. So the one we're talking about tomorrow is the most important one I ever do. Now, I read every single day. Every single day I read the right books. Just 20 minutes, maybe half an hour, every single day in unproductive time. In other words, at time, I wouldn't have to do anything else anyway. So I use it to read at that same time. And the one we talk about tomorrow and how to do this is Read Your Way to Success. That's tomorrow's Wealth Creation Show. By reading, you can expand your knowledge, improve your communication skills, boost your creativity, and the benefits of reading, it fosters empathy, it improves your vocabulary, it inspires creativity, it lessens stress, it builds perseverance, and it increases intelligence. And this is the key strategies that we're going to talk about tomorrow at 12:30 live, myself and Richard on the Wealth Creation Show. So if you want to tune into that on your bank holiday, is a bank holiday tomorrow? Yeah, I think it is. But we're not a bank, so we ain't on holiday. There you go. We're still doing business, still selling houses, still listing houses, still getting on it, and still helping our investors and landlords succeed every single day. Until next time, guys, I'll see you tomorrow on Wealth Creation Show at 12:30 live. I'm Jim Parker for Fife Properties TV.